what do you learn from the young generation?
What don't you learn? And I never seen Diwar on the screen.
That must have
And
been
I saw
quite an
Diwar
experience.
at Regal Cinema. Oh my God. I
thought
was
about this.
blown when I saw it on the big screen. I was possibly just going through a phase where maybe, like I keep discussing, my daughter was growing up as well.
Yeah.
So I was enjoying that bond and that dynamic of a father and a child. So possibly that's why these things resonated with me.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Sholay on the screen. I've only seen it on television.
Yeah.
You know, we used to have a VHS of it because it released in '75, and I apparently went to the premiere in my mother's belly.
Oh.
Right?
So that was technically your first show?
Yeah, kind
I'll
of.
probably tell you that. Like when I met Bachchan sir at his office, I was straight for the feet. I was like, sir, right
Yeah, I
there.
thought she tripped.
Yeah.
She was like,
No, like full on, like because.
Abhishek Bachchan, Madhumita, welcome to Cinema Express.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
Kartik.
Hi.
Abhishek, I want to start off with this. This very interesting thing you said during the interviews for I Want to Talk, where you were talking about how Arjun Sen, on whose life the film is based, he told you that we don't bring up children, they bring us up, and that is a very sweet thing, which like it's very applicable on this film.
yeah, that
which
was
is
the
what-
title of his book actually,
Yeah.
Raising a Father.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I want to understand, like, what does the young generation like? What do you learn from the young generation? Can be actors or can be just young people in general.
What don't you learn from
What
them?
do you learn?
What don't you learn from them? You know, I think the younger generations are just so well informed.
Yeah.
I think the access they have to information is amazing, and due to that, there's a whole cascading effect that happens throughout society. They no longer need to come to you for advice. So you can't really pull rank on them to say, I know what I'm talking about. Because 99% of the time, they probably know what they're talking about and you don't. So it's just, it's a wonderful time to sit back and just observe them. And the majority of the time, they will sort your life out for you. I mean, if I can give you a personal example, if I need advice on anything to do with, with my work or whatever, I go to my nephew Agastya.
Okay.
And he's this Zen master who comes up with this amazing advice, and it's fantastic. And, maybe 30, 40 years ago, nobody, in my situation would have gone to somebody who's, 20, 22 years younger than them for advice. Because, no, they don't know, to chote hain. So it's an amazing generation. And it's a pleasure to just observe them.
Abhishek, how is it, I always wonder this, how is it different when you're working with a child actor compared to like adult ones? Like, how is this, like, how do you bounce off with them? Like,
It's currently exactly the same.
it's the same.
No, when I first started, I did 1 or 2 films where there was younger actors and they had to be handled. But the last couple of films I've done with actors who are kids, they're completely prepared, and it's not like, they're kids, so no.
Yeah.
You can treat them like normal, experienced actors. I mean, Devik was exactly that.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd say cut and she goes, let's try it in this way, and he'd deliver. It wasn't like, he's a kid, I need to rehearse with him. And she's very diligent that way.
Yeah.
But she would say, no, let's try it like this, and he'd be very happy to pivot on the scene and just. Yeah. So it's like acting like with any other adult.
Devik is very sparky in the film.
Yes.
He's extremely like on cue. I feel like he has like prepared like a lot, and he's just constantly like. He's like, how was the experience with him?
I think I've always realized that when I work with children, right, there's a lot more that I learn from them.
Okay.
During workshops and during rehearsals, it's more me observing their things and knowing how to bring those little things out. For example, when I was doing workshop with Devik, it was important for me to understand that what are his, triggers, what are his, because you need the child to act very emotionally in certain scenes. So you want to be careful how you tread that line. So rather than telling him, you need to cry now, it was important for me to learn and understand what makes him feel sad. There was a particular day when we were doing in the workshop that we rehearsed a couple of scenes, especially the one where he kind of walks away and they split, right?
Yeah.
And in that particular scene, and we were rehearsing that, and he got very quiet. He wouldn't talk about the scene. Normally he's very spunky, and normally he's very like, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I sit here? Can I walk there? But this particular scene, he was very quiet, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to understand why is he quiet, and I'm trying to engage in conversation with him. And one rule I always have is their parents cannot come into the workshop.
Okay.
The parents wait outside, no matter, because what happens is kids receive very conflicting information from me and then from their parents.
The parents are also like, they also like tell them.
The dad, because they instruct them, right?
Oh,
because the rest of the time, the parents are spending time with the kid. So I make it very clear, please don't give him any instructions about the character, don't teach him anything, just help him learn lines, that's all. And so I asked Devik, why are you quiet, what is wrong and everything. And then he opened up after, like I took him out for lunch, and you know, I was trying to get to understand him, and I spent after 4 hours of kind of like, you know, talking about it. He told me it reminded him about somebody he had lost.
Oh.
Right, that scene reminded him of that. So for example, like he understood that feeling very as a real thing. He wasn't trying to perform it as someone else. So I think that's the thing with child actors, is that you learn so much from them. It's about understanding them rather than teaching them your ways. I think that's what I've realized with child actors.
Abhishek, in your recent filmography, children are being like an integral part of films. I think this is happening since Breathe. It is like a child is always there.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to understand, like, I think it's a coincidence. I don't think you're looking for it, but like, do you look back at a filmography and think what might be the zone, or what might be I'm interested in, that I'm choosing such projects, or like this is happening one after the other? Because recently Be Happy was also, child was there, and I Want to Talk also, like a little girl is there. Do you ever like go back into filmography and think of it that way?
I just think possibly these are the stories that are resonating with you at that point of time.
Yeah.
And as artists, I mean, be it a writer or a director or an actor, you want to do work that's the frame of mind you're in possibly at that point of time. You know, I was possibly just going through a phase where maybe, like I keep discussing, my daughter was growing up as well.
Yeah.
So I was enjoying that bond and that dynamic of a father and a child. So possibly that's why these things resonated with me.
Yeah.
Previously, when I had no understanding of that relationship, maybe they wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that. It's not...
has it happened before also, like you were going through a phase and you have seen like certain films you are doing which are like trying to get into that emotion?
Well, I'd like to believe that all creative people make their creative choices based on what they are feeling and what they want to say.
Yeah.
I'm not discussing the subject of what they want to say, but it's just that's the zone they're in.
Yeah.
When I started my career, that was never an option. You know, when you're starting your career, it was about doing the work.
Yeah.
It was about giving a successful film, and it was far more templated. And I think now, with time, people are allowing me the elbow room to pick and choose the subjects that at that point in time I feel like doing. It's not. I don't feel the need to do a particular kind of a cinema. It's okay. This story spoke to me. It moved me. It inspired me. I want to make it.
Madhumita, this the original film KD, the 2019 Tamil film. You said it was based on your grandfather. I think.
Yes.
Yes, your experiences with him. I would understand when you are like taking such a personal story set in a milieu of Tamil Nadu and then you place it in Madhya Pradesh,
Right.
In the north. How does creatively you know adapt it? How do you change it?
I think it's important to stay true to the people and the language over there, right? So it helped that I know how to read, speak, write Hindi, of course. But apart from that, I think understanding the culture of that place is very important. The nuances of that place is very important. And that's where your dialogue writer comes up with the language, the words that come into play. Now, understanding the milieu itself is equally important because you can't go wrong with it. You can't pretend. Especially in a film like this where it is about simplicity, it is about emotions. You can't, the world that you're bringing the audience into, it's got to feel real. It's got to feel believable. You can't snap out of it, right? So it's important to do that bit of research. It's important to understand what are the practices, how do people, communicate with each other, what are the family structures like, and what are the limitations that people have in when they come from a economically challenged position. For example, in this Kaalidhar, the family is not willing to take care of him or is willing to abandon him because, they don't know how to deal with the financial implications of his disease.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing. Whereas for somebody who comes from a slightly more privileged world, that's not a concern.
They also say कि बहुत अंग्रेजी बीमारी लेके आए.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it's important to understand what the lives of people there are like in order to keep it authentic. And I think that's what it involved. Research, it involved talking to people. When I did the original, I actually got to spend about 2 months in Virudhunagar, Madurai, where I spoke to different people about the cultural practices. Okay. Similarly, I spoke to people who, there are almost like orphanages around Varanasi and places like that, where they do leave, people who are abandoned come there and end up living their last few years over there. So it's important to understand what that feels like. Yeah.
Abhishek, you also said in an interview that you are very concerned about the physicality of a character. Like you said, 50% of the work is done if I understand how the character is physically. You gain weight for I Want to Talk. In this film also, there was this little very nice detail of your hand is shaking in some of the instances. Walk me through that. Walk me through getting into the physicality of Kaalidhar.
For me, getting the look of the character is very important. Okay. Once I know how the character is going to look and how the character is going to walk, it makes my life a lot easier. It's an audio-visual medium, so obviously the physicality of every character is very important, especially if you've got a very definitive character to play.
Yeah.
Whenever we used to sit and chat about it, and we spent a lot of time discussing him, his physicality, what he should do, what he should not do. Obviously, the handshaking is one of the side effects of his disease. So we wanted to make that a prominent part of his body language, but we did it very prominently. And she kept saying, let's not pay too much attention to it. Which at first I'm like, no, performance-wise, this, he keeps forgetting stuff, all that. I said, these are things that are. But what I realized what she was doing, and then I wholeheartedly agree with, and I back her on that completely, is it's not about the disease.
Yeah.
The film is about heart, and it's about a relationship. So let's not pay too much attention, because we don't want the audience to say, "Arey, dekho, kaisa acha performance kiya," It's not that. It's not.
It should not overpower.
Exactly. We're not looking at that. We're looking at telling a heartwarming story. But for me, any character I play, once I get that physicality, I feel a lot more comfortable within the skin of that character. And at the end of the day, that adds to the truth of the scene, and that's what we're aiming for, right?
In fact, I remember one of our conversations, he was literally talking almost 25-30 minutes about how we should get freckles on his makeup, because this is somebody who's almost like, out on the street for the longest time, and who's not had a roof over his head for a while through the journey of the film. And so how important it is to add that. And I was very genuinely excited, because this is somebody who's not worried about, I need to look good on camera, but I need to stay real to Kaalidhar. And so there were a lot of contributions from him discussing about it, and so he literally got into the skin of Kaalidhar, for that matter.
There was this one little thing on the lip also, I don't know, there was this little, I feel like it's a wound sort of thing, and it's like a little
chapped
lips.
Chapped
lips.
Yeah.
Okay, that was also like part of the...
Yes, he didn't have chapped lips. It was just Kaalidhar had chapped lips.
Abhishek, how to understand this? This story, this film is about this friendship between Kaalidhar and Ballu. What is something, it's for both of you, what is something non-negotiable in a friendship for you guys?
Trust. I think that is non-negotiable. Not just in their friendship, I think in any friendship, that trust is...
I'd agree with that. Trust and loyalty,
Abhishek, you also said one very nice thing in an interview where you're saying that I don't want my work to come out and be indifferent. People should not be indifferent to it. They should have an extreme reaction to an art. It should either be...
Don't say such things.
It should either be they should love it, or they should hate it.
Yeah, I said that in the context that, movies have to move you.
Yeah.
You either love it or you hate it. If you're indifferent to it, then we haven't managed to do anything. If you don't manage to move somebody in whichever direction, then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
It can. I would say the same for your profession.
Yeah.
if your readers or your viewers are going to be indifferent to your style and to your manner and your subject matter, you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to want to,
Engage.
read or consume your work. For an actor, I feel the films we make, part of the function of cinema is to move you.
Yeah.
And so you if you love it, great, that's what we're going for. But I'd rather you hate it than just be like, no reaction.
That holds true for relationships as well, right?
Yes.
Even with family, even with friends you love, you want to either love or hate them. If you're indifferent to them, then the point of it is gone.
Absolutely.
What is the last film you had a extreme reaction to? Maybe like you extremely loved it, or maybe you just didn't like it. Anything.
Good luck answering.
I don't know if it was an extreme reaction.
Yeah.
I am, by the touch wood, I'm very lucky where I can watch a movie and either like it or just not like it.
Okay.
I don't get into why and this movement, and I don't get into the technicality and all, which I'm sure, she'll tell you, I'm sure a lot of the time as a director, you start looking at the technique of it. I'm very good at just going and being an audience.
Yeah, you don't even observe the acting of it, like sometimes because
you
you're
do,
in the profession.
you do. But like on first glance, when I'm there, very honestly, there are very few things that make me happier than going to a movie theater with a bucket of popcorn and watching a movie. I'm not kidding. It's a ritual for me. I love it. Depending on where I'm watching it, then the menu gets decided accordingly. If it's in Mumbai, then you have to have your masala popcorn and your samosa and your cold drink, and then
the old school way.
Yeah, you have to do that. If you're abroad, you need your bucket of popcorn with a bit of butter on top of it. You need a chocolate, either your M&Ms or your Bunch of Crunch, and you need your Sprite.
Yeah.
And if you're getting nachos, finish your nachos by the time the trailers are over, so that
you're not
when the
doing
good
crunch.
So I love it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like going to temple. Yeah. It really is, and it excites the living daylights out of me. So I'm very good at going and being an audience. So I like a film. Okay, this film didn't really speak to me. Extreme reaction I haven't had for a long time. Ye kya hai yaar? I was.
Which was some you liked? Like, okay, maybe not extreme, but you went to a theater, like you're saying, like this experience you had, like.
Well, sadly, it's been a very busy year.
Okay, so
So I haven't really had the opportunity to go to the theaters and watch a lot of what's playing right now.
Not even at home, like on.
No, at home, yes, of course. You try and see whatever you can, but because we don't get much time.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who, once a movie starts, I want pin drop silence. I don't want to press pause. It really upsets me.
You can't watch it in parts.
No. It has to be start to finish. I mean, I don't like loo breaks also. And I'm one of those, if I'm at home and I'm watching it like on my UFO, I don't even take an interval. Interval is just a pause, okay, stand up, stretch a bit, get back, okay. I'm one of those. So, but no, I haven't had, I think there's some wonderful work being done. I'm just excited that, we live in a time where storytellers like her are getting the opportunity to tell such diverse stories, and thankfully they're picking actors like me as well.
Madhumita, any film for you or no?
I think the last one that I had, it's not a film, I had a very strong reaction to is When Life Gives You Tangerines.
Oh yes.
Which is a Korean thing. Yes, I watch a lot of content at home. I go to the theater alone to watch, but this one is the latest one that I've finished. So that one, I cry, I laugh.
Just based on the title, I'd never watched that film.
Why?
If you wrote kar raha hu against fruits. I have a person, so when life gives you tangerines.
Tangerines. It's a Korean.
Nice?
Yeah, it's very nice.
No,
it's very my kind of thing. I've lost a lot of friends, like what he said. I've lost a lot of friends who want to watch movies with me, and luckily I'm blessed, right? Like, I'm sure it's hard for actors to step out in the crowd and watch films. I go bindas. But the thing is, I go with friends, and then they will ask questions. What did he say? And then I'm like completely like, you are not coming for a movie with me ever again. You're banned from my movie.
I have the same friend. They look at their phone and then they ask.
Yeah.
And they ask the question, what happened? Who killed who?
Yeah, not happening. So I've lost friends like that.
I have an answer.
Okay.
What? Which film?
The last film I saw in the theater that I had an extreme reaction to. I saw my dear friend Shivendra restored Diwar.
Oh wow.
Oh,
And I'd never seen Diwar on the screen.
Oh, nice.
oh
That
nice.
must have
And
been
I saw
quite
Diwar
an
at
experience.
Regal Cinema.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
I recently saw Diwar like from start to finish. I had never seen the film full, and I'm guilty of that. I'm like this, but I saw it full, and it was such an amazing experience. I've been.
I
thought
was
about this.
blown when I saw it on the big screen. And now I'm excited because on August 15th is 50 years of Sholay.
Yes.
Wow.
And I've never seen Sholay on the screen. I've only seen it on television.
Yeah.
You know, we used to have a VHS of it because it released in 75. And I apparently went to the premiere in my mother's belly.
Oh.
Oh.
Right?
So that was technically your first
Yeah,
film?
yeah, kind of. And she was pregnant with my sister during the shooting of the film.
Oh, okay.
That's why if you see, you'll never see too many white shots of her because she was pregnant with my sister
Okay.
through the making of the film, and she was pregnant with me during the premiere. But I've never seen it on the big screen, so I was telling Rohan that can you please do something? We want to see it, and I want to go to like a big theater and see it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, watching Deewar just blew me away. And it's amazing, man. You're talking about a movie that was made 50 years
Yes.
ago,
Yeah.
and it's still,
Holds true.
Yeah.
it's so
It still gets you
contemporary.
so
yeah.
excited.
I'm like, because I recently saw it. I'm not.
No,
like,
and also
recently.
hota kya hai na, we feel, arey yaar, action, especially in action, it's become so much more advanced, the cutting patterns, this, that, but even the action just feels so, you don't get bored. I remember seeing, growing up in school and all that, I was a big Steve McQueen fan, right? Because he was just so cool. And I remember we used to all see Bullet and be like,
Yeah.
it was at that point of time, the longest car chase ever filmed. I think it was some 40 minutes or something.
Oh.
And I saw it like 5-6 years or during lockdown, and I'm like, really, dude, just get on with it, you know? Because it's those long shots, but in those days,
Yeah.
in the 60s, it was, you know, it was unheard of.
Yeah.
So, you know, some films, sadly, they don't, certain aspects of it don't age. Diwar, I was like, wow.
I
Really?
think there was I texted you as well. I think when we went and watched, there was a Bachchan Sir Film Festival
Yes.
in Bombay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of films that were being
Yeah.
screened, and I think that's where I saw Amar Akbar
Yeah.
Antony as
Okay.
well, and I was like, this is just a different level. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, like he'll probably tell you that. Like when I met Bachchan Sir at his office, I was straight for the feet. I was like, sir, right
Yeah, I
there.
thought she tripped.
Yeah.
She was like,
No, like full on, like, because I mean it's the very traditional way of doing it, right? Like North Indians, I think they do
Yeah,
like
they
only
do.
one hand, but South Indians are like full for attack. And then he's like, I didn't know what you were trying to do over there, but okay. So that is Bachchan Sir for us. It's the reason why I grew up in Indonesia, but then we were watching like all these films on VHS,
Yeah.
and that was our only way into Indian culture, and Indian
Yeah.
cinema was such a important part of it, right? So watching Ramesh Supi sir's film, Rishikesh Mukherjee sir's films, and all of Mani
Sholay we'll
sir's
see.
film,
We'll see
we'll
Sholay.
go together.
Yeah.
Yeah, done.
On that note, thank you.
Thank
you so
you.
much. Thank you very much. For
Thank
your
you very
time.
much.
Best of luck.
Thank
for
you.
Kaalidhar.
Thank
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.